All right, everybody, what's going on and how y'all doing? And welcome to today's edition of Swag Talk, the show we cover the swag inside and out. Of course, I'm the tour guide around the swag, see what's coming at you. And as you can see from the title, Prairie View now has their coach, Coach Tremaine Jackson from Valdosta State, taking over the Panthers program. Um, I think this is a good move. Like I said, we're going to talk about it. Um, talk about who he is, where he came from, and all of that. So with that being said, man, y'all hit those socials: Facebook is Swag Talk, Instagram Swag Talk, Twitter Swag Talk 76. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel while you're here. Like the video, comment, and share. Like I said, we got a lot still going on, even though the football season is over in terms of games being played, but we're gonna be rolling out our postseason recaps, and we're gonna cover whatever other coaching news comes around. Also, recruiting, transfer portal, legacy bowl, NFL draft, all of that, and basketball. Man, we're gonna squeeze some basketball in there. I haven't forgot about my basketball preview. I'm gonna drop that this week, and that's that, man. So let's go ahead and jump into this, man. We're not gonna waste any more time. We're gonna go ahead and talk about this big news. I'm gonna read from um, this information that I'm reading is coming from the Prairie View Athletic site. So that's pvpanthers.com. So this is where this information is coming from. It says Prairie View A&M University has named Tremaine Jackson as the new head football coach for the Panthers effective January 1st, 2025. With a legacy of excellence and a commitment to student athlete success, Coach Jackson brings a wealth of experience and unrivaled passion for the sport to the university. Joining PVAMU fresh off of being named the AFCA Division II Coach of the Year, Jackson served as head coach for Valdosta State University Blazers football team from 2022 to 2024, amassing an overall record of 30-9 in his 3 seasons. He guided the Blazers to an undefeated regular season en route to an NCAA Division II national championship game. In his second year with Valdosta State, he led them to the Gulf South Conference Championship, becoming the first Black coach in the history of the conference to win the title, with the team ranked in the top 15 nationally in passing offense, first downs, completion percentage, passing efficiency, net punting, and fumbles recovered. Additionally, the team achieved its highest grade point average in program history. Before taking over Valdosta's program, Jackson was head coach for Colorado Mesa Mavericks, defensive line coach at Texas State, and defensive coordinator at Abilene Christian. He spent time as an assistant head coach at the University of Sioux Falls, helping the Cougars to a combined 32-5 record in 4 seasons. Jackson began his coaching career at Texas A&M Kingsville as the Javelinas defensive line coach. He served as defensive coordinator at Texas Southern from 2008 to 2011, helping that team win the 2010 SWAC championship. Jackson also had stops at Trinity Valley Community College and Evangel University. Prairie View Athletic Director Anton Goff expressed his enthusiasm for the arrival of Coach Jackson, stating Coach Tremaine Jackson is a natural fit for Prairie View and for what we want to see our program become. His experience, leadership, dedication to student athlete success align perfectly with our university's values and goals. We expect excellence, and we're very confident that Coach Jackson will deliver. We're looking forward to the positive impact he will have on our football program and the entire Prairie View community. Named by ESPN as one of 45 minority coaches under 45 to watch, and the Football Scoop's 2022 Minority Watch List, Jackson was twice selected to participate in NFL's Bill Walsh Minority Fellowship, spending a week in June of 2023 with the Pittsburgh Steelers and part of the training camp with the 2024 Jacksonville Jaguars. He also completed the NFL internship with Houston Texans and San Diego Chargers. Jackson is vice president of the Minority Coaches Advancement Association. He served on several AFCA committees and was recipient of the 2022 Harry Butler Community Service Award for dedicated community service and outstanding volunteerism. Coach Jackson shared his excitement in joining Prairie View, saying, "I am grateful for the opportunity to serve as the next head coach of Prairie View. In our program, we strive to build champions both on and off the field, and that's something I truly believe can be accomplished. I'm excited to come home and have our team be an active part of the community. He added, I want to thank President Tamika Legrand and Director of Athletics Anton Goff for their belief in me to lead the Panthers. Aligning athletics with campus culture of excellence is something that is extremely important to me, and I feel confident that can be accomplished with their leadership and vision. I'm eager to get to work. Um, so we're going to take a quick look at his time at Valdosta State. Like I said, like I said, last season he was 13. Well, this past season he was 13-1. Went undefeated in conference at 8-0. Had a 5-0 record on the road. 8-0 at home. They were 6-0 in conference. So 13-1. Really, I mean, it doesn't really get any better than that. 2023, he went 12-2, 7-1 in conference, 6-2 at home, and 6-0 on the road. And then his first year in 2022, he led the Blazers to a 5-6 record. Now, this was his first year. He went 5-6, 2-5 in conference. He took over a team in 2021 that was 12-2. So they kind of they made some changes, and obviously they probably lost some guys, and he had to come in and kind of get these guys back up and running. So when he took over this team in 2022, let's see. Let's see if we can get this right. When he took over the team in 2022, obviously he has has some work to do. His program still was pretty successful statistically when you look at what they were able to do. With a 5-6 team, they still averaged 36 points per game. Defensively, they gave up 37, so that's where their biggest issue was. They ran for 213 yards per game. They gave up 250. They threw for 202 on the season. They only had 6 interceptions thrown, but the defense gave up over 220 yards, 475 yards of total offense for the Blazers, and they gave up 471. So as you can see, their defense was just not good at all, and their offense was actually pretty good. And they leaned heavy on the run game. They had 3 guys that year with over 600 yards rushing. And so that really, put them in a position to move into that 2023 season, which was his first really, really good season, going 12-2. Like I said before, they averaged 36 points a game. That year, their defense cut the numbers down to 24 points per game. They did not run the ball well that year, 121 yards on the ground per game. Gave up 176. They threw the ball for 312, so they were definitely a team that aired it out. They only gave up 193 yards through the air, so they threw 36 touchdowns that season. They ran for 31, so they were able to still score a lot of points, even with a limited running game. Average 433 yards of offense and 6.7 yards per play. Really good numbers there. And defensively, 369 yards per game. Again, they cut those numbers down from the previous season. This season, they averaged 40 points per game, and the defense cut that number down to 13. So they went from 38 points per game to 24 to 13. And so that's a really good mark of a solid coaching staff. Guys that work hard on getting guys in the right position and buying into what they were doing. Offensively, they averaged 200 yards on the ground, up from 121. That's a big jump. So that's a good thing. They cut the running game yardage down to 132. They averaged 248 through the air. Only 2 interceptions on the season on 33 touchdowns. Defensively, they only allowed 137 yards per game. So the defense really improved this past season. That was one of the biggest things. The offense is kind of consistent. They just do it in different ways all 3 years, but they are extremely consistent. And like I said, the defense just got better. allowing an average of 269 yards on the season per game, and only 4.4 yards per play. You don't really get much better than that. It's going to be interesting to see, staff wise, what he does. Does he bring anybody with him? That'll be interesting. I know his defensive coordinator, Brandon Anderson, came with him from his previous stop. I don't know if that. I don't know if he's gonna follow as well. But there are, that's to me is always the mark of what goes on with a coaching change. How they assemble a staff. But this is a guy that wins. He's a winner. He's won pretty much everywhere he's been. And he had a rough start at Valdosta, but he was able to right the ship and get his team on track. That's something that really can't be understated. That they were able to kind of hit some bumps in the road, but bounce back, and that's gonna always be a key thing to look out for. Where Prairie View is coming into the season is definitely gonna be interesting. This team really didn't have necessarily the consistency that you need. They started off kind of slow. Some games they were able to score some points, other games they weren't. Defensively, some games they were able to get stops, some they couldn't. And I think their running game was a big issue. Consistency. But I think they were a team who still, even though they didn't play up to the level that they wanted, they still were around that 500 mark, which is pretty much where this team has been overall in previous seasons. The difference is they're typically the last few seasons typically in the top 2 or 3 in the division. So they finished 4th this year, which is not really up to the standards that they have, and they really want to be a top FCS program, not just a top SWAC program. So hiring a guy like this, who is a guy who has SWAC roots, but not a guy who is like in the SWAC. He's basically coming from outside of it in terms of his head coaching experience. That's gonna open up a lot of different avenues. That's gonna make some things really interesting to see his approach. He's a guy who's from Houston, so he's a Texas guy. I mean, he knows that he's gonna recruit that area very well. So it's gonna be interesting to see how he puts together his first team. And like I said, I expect, even if the first season doesn't necessarily go so great, I'm not saying it won't, because a guy like this could hit the ground running and really make it happen. But I do see him improving every year that he's at Prairie View. So if you're a Panther, you really have to be happy with this move. If you're anybody else in the West Division, you really need to be looking at your staff and making sure those guys are up to par, because Coach Jackson is going to have his guys ready to play, and they're going to definitely play an exciting brand of offense. If he keeps some of his coordinators with him, the offensive defense was extremely elite this past season. So I think this is a great hire. I don't really grade coaching hires, because you really can't grade a guy until you see him in action. But I will say, I think this is a very, 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 very solid hire. This was a guy I threw his name in the mix for Southern last year. Obviously, that didn't come to fruition. But this is a guy I've been waiting for him to get a job like this, and Prairie View is a good landing spot for him. Facilities, a program that's hungry for some long-term sustained success in a talent-rich area, and just along with the transfer portal and everything else, the possibility of a quick turnaround is there. I always feel like in the West, you don't have to do a lot of special things to win it. You just got to be in it. And I think the first year they're going to be in it. From now on, I think he's going to definitely have these guys rolling. So I'm excited to see how he does. I'm excited to see his staff come together. I'm excited to see how he gets on the recruiting trail for the National Signing Day and beyond. I'm definitely going to be locked in the Prairie View in the spring practice, because I want to really keep a good tab on what he's doing. And so, like I said, again, Coach Tremaine Jackson, now Prairie View head coach. great move to me, among other people. And so, with that being said, man, I'm your tour guide around the SWEC. See well signing out, and I will catch y'all on the rebound. Peace.